Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. What a 24 hours it has been in the whole UFC 303 saga. Is Mcgregor and Chandler gonna fight? Is he injured? Is he not? Is the fight gonna go ahead? But make sure before we get into this to the stream, make sure to hit the like button, share button, and subscribe button. Hopefully Jamie will be joining me shortly. He's just caught up with a few things at the moment, but links to his channel and the Sanderson Show are also in the description. But hey, this time last night, me, Jamie, Callum, Drifty were speculating about is McGregor Chandler gonna happen? And Cal and Jamie thought, I don't know whether or not it's gonna happen, And me, the eternal optimist, thought, this will go ahead, right? Big up Football Gossiper. Big up Burgoyne saying I'm not feeling it. Don't need to fight malarkey. I know. Each to their own. But yeah, so I go to bed. I wake up early to walk the dog like I do. And it's confirmed that McGregor is out injured of UFC 303. And the new main event, Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka 2, the rematch that people wanted to see, comes in and saves yet another event. Comes in after saving UFC 300, fights Jamahal Hill with a broken toe, breaks another toe, and comes in on 2 weeks' notice to fight Yuri Prochazka. And obviously, Dana made the announcement. Also, more fights have been subject to change as well. New co-main event, and which is absolutely mental. And then obviously, Jamahal Hill out injured against Carlos Ulberg. So Anthony Lionheart Smith will now be the replacement, which yet again is a great fight. Smith is coming off a good win. An upset win, because people really had him down to lose his last fight. But I'll just share the screen now quickly. And this was Dana's announcement on his Twitter after, the McGregor news happened.
All right, guys, here I am again. Conor McGregor is out of 303 versus Michael Chandler with an injury. The new main event is Alex Pereira, former not only UFC middleweight champion, he's also the first and only fighter to win both middleweight and light heavyweight titles in UFC history. He also did it in the shortest amount of time. He did it in 736 days and 7 fights. He finished 7 of 9 wins by knockout, which is a 78% finish rate, and won 10 of his last 11 fights. And he is facing former UFC light heavyweight champion Yuri Prochazka, who has an unbelievable 23 first-round wins. He has 25 by knockout, 3 by submission. That is a 97% finish rate. The co-main event will be number 3 ranked Brian Ortega, who has the second most finishes in featherweight history and the second most submissions in featherweight history. He won Performance of the Night 8 times, and he will be taking on rising superstar Diego Lopes. He has 22 of his 24 wins coming by finish with 10 knockouts and 12 submissions. That's a 92% finish rate. Also, Jamahal Hill is out with a knee injury. So, Carlos Ulberg, who is 11-1 and has 6 first-round finishes with 7 wins by knockout and 2 wins by submission and an 82% finish rate, and he's on a 6-fight win streak, will now be taking on Anthony Smith. He has 21 first-round finishes, 19 wins by knockout, 15 by submission, and ladies and gentlemen, that's a 90% finish rate. So, it has been a crazy week here at UFC. That is the new lineup.
And here we have it. Dana made the announcement that, Jamahal Hill is out. So that original fight for UFC 303 was supposed to be Jamahal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. Crazy that fight, neither fighter is now on the card. And now it is Anthony Lionheart Smith versus Carlos Ulberg. I think Anthony Smith, it did come out that he actually put his name in to fight Pereira if Prochazka couldn't make it. Ottoman Turk, evening. Yes, evening to you. Big up Eric as well. Everyone that's tuning in, make sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. I think I'm like 5 subs away from 200. So I'm definitely making more of an effort to give you more regular content. So hopefully we can push that up. But make sure to hit the like button. Yeah, but let's talk. Let's talk about McGregor. Let's talk about the big thing. He's out injured. People have assumed that for many different reasons, like, is he actually injured? Is it long term? Has he re-damaged his leg again? But I think Ariel Hawani. So this is the full context. So I'll share the screen again. So this is the full context, really. So McGregor suffered an injury a day or so before the UFC 303 press conference in Dublin. The UFC had hoped that the fight would still be on and didn't make this information public so Chandler wouldn't know about the injury. Initially, there was anxiety over the injury and there was optimism, which is why the UFC started to promote the fight again. McGregor's team, alongside the UFC, did everything in their power to save the event. However, 48 hours to go, the UFC finally pulled the plug. That's from Ariel Hawani. Right, so people that like to throw this narrative that McGregor's just ducking. He's ducking. Yeah, he doesn't want to fight Chandler. His head's not in it and stuff like that. I think it's lazy. This is the first time McGregor has pulled out of a fight due to injury. I know he pulled out in Cage Warriors, but I'm talking UFC. It's the first time he's pulled out with injury. With injury, the date's going to be changed. I think the two dates they're looking at is either the end of August and or September. But I know when people saw that, I was like, oh, why are you not told Chandler that McGregor's carrying an injury? But could you imagine if they told Chandler, oh yeah, McGregor's carrying a knock, carrying an injury, we don't know whether or not this is gonna go ahead, and then the UFC go, yeah, McGregor's all right, he's ready to fight, and now you've just given Chandler information that McGregor may not be 100%. So I get why the UFC have not specified that to him, but obviously, a few fellow professionals, obviously, with that news, came out and sort of, because we know McGregor's the troll, or we know that he is the ultimate troll. Just trying to find it now before I share the screen again. No, that's too far down. Yeah, but obviously Poirier, tweeted back really against it because obviously McGregor, said that UFC 302 only did 500k pay-per-views, and Poirier goes #nothingburger. So there's still obviously no love lost between the two of them. That's Yuri stuff. I'm just trying to think. So this is the before and after, right? Before I get into that, I just want a comment here from Eric. Big up, Eric. Look, I'm Irish born and raised. I can't stand McGregor. I'm really disappointed. I don't get to see Chandler smash his face, and McGregor is a bad representation of the Irish people. Do you know what I think? I think this version of Conor, I can definitely see why the Irish people, some of the Irish, including yourself, Eric, have really soured against him. I'll make no bones about it. I am a big McGregor fan. He was the one that drew me into the UFC when he was at his absolute pop. That featherweight run, the Diaz, and then he had the Alvarez. I sort of didn't, and then from there, like how he promoted the Khabib fight made me feel very uncomfortable. Then obviously he changed, he completely changed personality in that Cerrone fight. He was a lot more respectful, did the same with the Poirier fight, and then he just completely switched again and went the opposite way. Instead of being that witty, quick on the comeback, a sharp tongue, he just said some stuff that, as a fan of his, just made me feel a little bit like, didn't particularly like that. And I understand why some people have gone off him, but just gutted, absolutely gutted. Because think about it, right? I think the UFC or Dana confirmed ages ago that before this whole thing was was announced as injury, this was a $20 million gate. $20 million gate off the bat, and that was about a few months ago that this was going to be like a $20 million gate. And now think about all the Irish fans that have flown over, booked hotels, bought tickets for ridiculous prices, and obviously McGregor's not going to be there. Cody, what's your opinion on PFL prospect? Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to say that because I nearly got baited several times yesterday. So I'm going to a good try, Cody. Good try, but close, but no cigar. But I've got here up on screen, right? The original top two, and then obviously the other two. What do you think, guys? Because Callum said in our mine and Jamie's group chat. Obviously, Callum's not here to go through this. He said like this has made the card look better. Like somehow the UFC have just pulled that rabbit out the hat where they have pulled victory out of the jaws of defeat. Somehow, some way. I don't know where you people think about this. Eric, with another comment, said, no doubt he made a name for himself, nothing against him, but insulting an elderly man in the pub for not accepting a drink is a scumbag move. Yeah, facts. Absolute facts. And you know what the funny thing is, Eric? The elderly man took that shot like a champ, like it didn't even stun him. A chin of granite. Trip, I'll definitely answer that comment when we touch on, the Pereira Prochazka too. But with regards to McGregor, he mentioned about, I think he tweeted saying like he wants to, he tweeted ages ago that he'd like his fight to be in the Sphere. To my understanding of what's been read and what's been reported, the UFC are not planning to have him fight on the Sphere card, because I think now, especially the whole getting McGregor to fight Chandler, which, let's be honest, it has been a pretty big shit show since Chandler really called him out, really, through Tough, the interviews. Like every time Conor spoke about coming back, he was like, you know what, I got to fight this Chandler guy, and maybe I get the feel for it, so I might actually want to fight. So for me, personally, for me, the person I feel sorry for is Chandler, because he did what Dustin Poirier did for the third fight, right? Everyone's telling Poirier, title, you got to fight for the belt next. Don't fight McGregor, because if you lose, then, you've made the wrong choice. And obviously Poirier beat McGregor, obviously, because McGregor broke his leg, and then the gamble paid off, because then he got a title shot. He's made big money, and now Poirier looks like that he could retire with a nice, healthy bank balance. But Chandler, for Chandler, he has no choice but to wait, right? Because I don't think he is going to get another shot at the belt. With Chandler, this is probably his. What's the thing? This is his version of fighting for the belt. Fighting McGregor, you get a big payday, and if you win, I know this ain't the same McGregor as McGregor was, but if you get a win, still a win on the resume, still beat the biggest pay-per-view star in the history of the game. And let's be honest, I'm very critical. I have been very critical recently of how the UFC, or the lack of the UFC promotion when it comes to fights, really. But it is absolutely crazy to think that there has probably been more intrigue now to UFC 303 than there probably was been before. Because let's be honest, the promo for UFC 303, considering that this is a McGregor comeback, the promotion has pretty much been piss poor, to be honest. I don't know what you guys think in the comments, but and also Ariel said that injuries not severe, will able to return in about 2 months. So about the August-September date, they should be running that back. But for me, because also there's a comment here saying the UFC does not want McGregor Chandler the headline UFC 303 at the Sphere because they've got a couple of fights lined up, which I think personally you'll see Valentina Shevchenko versus Grasso 3, and also you'll see Sean O'Malley versus Marab will probably headline that event. And plus, the Sphere is such a big event. Would you want to risk this fiasco again? Like, what happens if you book McGregor Chandler at the Sphere and one of them pulls out again, and then you've got this whole shit show yet again where you're scrambling to see which champions are available and ready to rock and roll because of this situation. And speaking of like people trying to get like opportunities for the belt really, like, so Michael Chandler, right, he literally said like fighting McGregor was never a safe bet as an opponent, but it was the highest risk, but maybe the highest reward, the biggest opportunity. So this is a calculated risk. That's why I don't think that if he was offered to stay on that card, he would have said yes. He would, because I don't think Chandler knows that this fight for him is red panty night. This is red panty night. No matter how bad McGregor's been, he is still the company's cash cow. It's still the company's cash cow, but he said like this is the biggest. This is his biggest opportunity, and for me, the thing that's going to be really crushing, like let's say McGregor does come back and absolutely smashes Chandler, then Chandler's just gone, fuck, just sat around for 2 years. It's going to be about 2 years for nothing, pretty much. And obviously Colby, the ever troll, about
Conor McGregor. He's not even fighting Conor McGregor. UFC legends Colby Covington and Michael Chandler. Michael can say whatever he wants. He still believes he's fighting Conor McGregor. He's not even fighting Conor McGregor, so he knows deep down inside.
Definitely fighting Conor McGregor.
All right, guys, here I am again. Conor McGregor is out of 303 versus Michael Chandler.
So harsh, man. Getting trolled by Colby. How bad must that be if you're getting trolled by Colby and got community noted at the same time as well? Which is absolute savage. And obviously about replacements, the UFC sent feelers out to Max Holloway to step in to fight Chandler. Never really got that far. Dricus was discussed, but didn't get that far. So they definitely tried to scramble stuff together last minute. And obviously, Ariel Hawani's been getting a lot of stick through this, right? He's been getting a lot of stick. That will be probably a separate video, right? He got a lot of stick for this, about how it was all reported. People were basically saying, he's sort of like he doesn't know what's going on and stuff like that. But let's be honest, right? This Ariel is the biggest. What's the thing? He is the biggest journalist in the game. He's going to have the best sources, and there would have been no way that he would have been able to put any of that out without the go-ahead from his said source. Because let's be honest, I know Ariel and Dana don't have a good relationship, but what would Ariel? I know Ariel doesn't like some of the stuff that the UFC does, but there's no way that he'd want to sabotage this whole event if it was not true, sort of thing. So I'm glad for Ariel that he's right in this situation. I'm sort of bummed out that he's right because look, we've got no McGregor, no Chandler. But speaking of fights that changed, sort of ironic that Jamal Hill's been talking his shit to Pereira about when I see you, next time. Jamal Hill is now out of his fight with Carlos Ulberg due to a knee injury, so he's no longer be fighting. Now it's going to be Anthony Smith. Massive opportunity for Carlos Ulberg. I know everyone likes to troll Anthony Smith about, he's a shit fighter sort of thing. This guy's done. Yeah, just tell that to the last guy that was supposed to wipe the floor with him and got tapped out in one round. So Ulberg, absolute knockout machine. But Anthony Smith is definitely the new definition of a gatekeeper. So if Ulberg gets the win, he definitely pushes himself up there in terms of contention. But yeah, and then also Diego Lopes and Brian Ortega is now the co-main event. Big step up for Lopes. I think he's coming off that great knockout over Yusuf. But a win over third-ranked Brian Ortega pushes him definitely in that conversation for a title shot. And people have been asking for fresh blood at featherweight, so I guess people are getting what they wanted. But let's move on, right? Let's talk about Alex Pereira. Let's talk about Puerta, yeah? Alex Pereira doing a tour in Australia, building his profile, gets the call. So, hey, look, we need you to save another card this year. Because let's be honest, people forget that he saved UFC 300. Yeah? Remember when the UFC were scrambling to find fighters for UFC 300? Alex Pereira's like, yeah, I'm picking up the phone. Yeah? Make the call and I'll be there. Right? So now he's picked up the call to probably fight Yuri Prochazka in a rematch. I know you guys know my feelings about rematches. Yeah, I don't like rematches especially in the UFC, unless it's a razor close decision or it's a robbery. That's the only time that I really, back people getting rematches. And I wasn't. When it first came out, I wasn't all for a rematch. Because we've just seen Pereira smoke this dude. I know a little bit of controversy, but I don't think it was as big as some people think it was. However, he can move on. He fought Jamal Hill, and I thought, next fight Ankalaev. But I think the Ankalaev one, didn't really fall through. But Pereira showing that he is the current BMF in this business at the moment. So look at this. Since McGregor last fought, right? 8 UFC fights, won the middleweight title, won the light heavyweight title, defended the light heavyweight title, defeated 5 former champions, saved UFC 300, and saved UFC 303. That is pound for pound number one shit right there. That is baddest motherfucker anytime, any place, anywhere shit. Yeah? Gets the job done. Answers the call. I know Trip only had a thing. It's like, where would you rank Pereira all time if he beats Yuri again? Well, it all depends on where you're ranking him at. Because obviously, we know that he ain't going to go in the GOAT categories of light heavyweight or at middleweight due to the fact that he's not really stuck around in the division for particularly long. His run at light heavyweight is probably going to be longer than his run at middleweight. I don't know. Really. He's probably getting to the top 10. But the thing is, people obviously at light heavyweight, John Jones is the GOAT at light heavyweight. So I don't think there's anything Pereira could do to really surpass John Jones's legacy at 205. But he's definitely gonna have. It's gonna be tricky how people are gonna put him, because I don't think another win over Yuri really solidifies an all-time ranking at the moment, because people would arguably saying, hey, look, he came into the UFC and he got pushed very, very quickly because Israel Adesanya ran out of opponents. He ran out of opponents, and people going, shit, we need to find someone. Then Pereira comes in, wins a couple of fights, and boom, and gets a shot against Izzy. Right? Football gossiper. All the light heavyweight goats or grapplers, does he get through them? Oh, I don't know, I don't think so. Okay, so let's go through the light heavyweight goats, right? Doesn't beat John Jones. Doesn't beat DC. Does he beat a Rumble? Probably not. Trying to think who. The thing is, he has that knockout power, the one touch, the touch of death, which is the great equalizer because every fight when it starts on the feet, right? So you can definitely have that argument that if Pereira catches any of them, it could be lights out, which I 100% like. But if they took him down, if the grapplers took him down, like how Blachowicz took him down in their fight, Jan Blachowicz, who is not a renowned grappler, he's more of a all-rounder, but leans heavily more to his striking. You're thinking the ease that he took him down, you're probably thinking, someone like a prime DC Jones, even a younger Glover, would beat Pereira. So, but in terms of, I think he'd really solidify his ranking among the fans because of his activity. Because he could have easily just said to the UFC, "No, there's no way I'm saving not another event of yours. Like I need to rest," because I think he broke a toe before UFC 300, and then he broke a toe during his fight at UFC 300. So he has broken toes. Sorry, just going to answer this quickly. Okay, guys, just got a text from Jamie. Jamie won't be able to make it for the show tonight. He has a family emergency, so sending everyone in the chat, make sure you send their love to Jamie. He's currently got a family emergency at the moment, so he won't be joining me tonight. So it looks like that we're riding solo tonight, but that's all right. We've got you in the chat to make sure to hit the like button, share button, fire in the questions as well, because I was going to try to make it about an hour, but if we can make it for about an hour, then that'd be great. Got plenty more things to talk about. Big up Jamie as always. Jamie, I think Callum's got some things going on tonight as well, so send love to both of them. What about a light heavyweight Anderson Silva? Does Poatan stand a chance? Oh, you know what? I just think, obviously, the kicking game, I think you'd add Poatan, but the thing is, with Pereira's movement, I just think it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I think Silva's slickness and movement might just give him the edge. Franklin Cap, crazy. Pereira's the main attraction of the UFC right now. Now, is he stable? Tables have turned on him. Absolutely. Yeah, good to be it. Yeah, absolutely. Because Izzy was the one that kick-started this. You know, he's gonna be watching me in the bar, thinking, "Look, I beat that guy." And that was the thing that got Pereira out of his slump. Getting back in the gym, working, thinking, "No, you know what? I'm gonna take everything you've worked for. I'm gonna take your belt. I'm gonna take your fans. I'm gonna leave you lying." So, sorry, I just got to answer this quickly. I hope you guys understand. Yeah. So, like Pereira is the UFC's main attraction because let's be honest, he is probably, I'd probably say he is the biggest draw at the moment currently in the UFC. One, because this guy's active. This guy is fighting any place, anytime, anywhere, pretty much, and he's not taking gimmick fights here. He's not taking gimmies. He's taking champions. He's taking championship bouts against world class caliber fighters. Since Izzy can't step up, Alex is showing up absolutely big facts. Like he is just taking this in his stride, and like okay, he's in his he just passed the mid-30s mark, so I think it's about 36. And obviously, when you hit to the dreaded 35 in the lower weight, you're thinking, shit, he's winning no belt. But because I think we've discussed this before, the older you are, it sort of serves you better in the bigger divisions. And like Pereira's chasing legacy here. He's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time. If you know, you know. And I think that just shows like his activity that he's willing to fight at. So yeah, you could see some of things like defeat 5 former champions. He could defeat one of them again. He could defeat Yuri again. Obviously, here like Jamal Hill talking shit about Pereira for 2 weeks just for him to pull out and have the event headlined by him. Big facts. And obviously, OCC MMA, 12 MMA fights signed 3 years ago. Came double champ in 2 years. First round KO made at UFC 300. He's one of a kind. He's one of a kind. These fighters are a rare commodity. Are very, very rare. This guy is definitely the most active fighter in the UFC at the moment. I don't think anyone can sort of disagree with that. He is definitely the most active fighter. Yeah, 9 fights in less than 3 years. It'd be his 5th title fight since signed for the UFC in 2021. Do you know that do you know that Pereira wasn't even signed to the UFC when Conor McGregor last fought? Let that sink in. Pereira was not signed when McGregor fought Poirier. Literally, Pereira signed a few months later. Now he's taken the mantle. He's really growing his fan base across the world. Like he's in Australia, where it was probably going to be rumored that he was going to fight on that Perth card against Yuri. That was where we were going, which would have been hilarious to have him, Izzy, Yuri, Dricus all on the same, same presser, which would have been absolutely incredible. And just make sure I don't do anything. Crazy to think about. Football gospel, big facts. Man hasn't even touched his UFC 300 check, and he's headlining another one. See, and plus, let's be honest, this is because it's short notice. He is going to get the bag. I'll be so interested to see what his purse is for taking this fight. I'll be so interested. Does he have any ground game? I don't think we've seen any really. I think his ground game is very basic. I think his ground game is very, very, very basic because of the work he's been doing with Glover, because Glover's really helped him with that base to make sure that he can stay on his feet and then to get back up. And then, look, Adam Carroll tweeted, recovering from broken toes on the tour of Australia, calls to defend his crown, arguing against the division's most dangerous fighter. That is pound for pound number 1 activity. That's the GOAT attitude. And then he obviously got about the tweet. He understands that maybe difficulties with the lead at time, but there's someone that can make it happen. It's him. It's why that he said that I am one of the biggest fighters in the UFC. I take risks. And we criticize fighters for not taking enough risk. in the UFC. We always say that they're gonna. Why is this guy not fighting? Like, why is this guy sitting out? Oh, he's got a little niggle here, a little niggle there. Like, why is he not putting it on the line? Well, it has to be the highest paid fighter since COVID. Ooh, I'll be very interested to see what the statistics are, because since COVID, McGregor fought about 3 years ago. I'm wondering to see if anyone's got close to what he earned, like a show fee. I know he didn't win, but like the pay-per-view slice, I'm wondering if anyone's got close to that. So it'd be very interesting to see those numbers. But absolutely crazy. Like, for me, Pereira is going to go down as like one of the most game fighters ever. And I think he's going to fight again this year. I think Pereira's going to have at least 3 fights this year all together. Do you agree with the MMA guru that the card is better now than before? I'm not sure. It's an interesting one because Callum said in our group chat, I'll just try and find the message he sent earlier. He said overall the card might be better now. And I was thinking about it and I was like, is it better? Because I think for me, I think the reason why, because let's be honest, the card looked a bit undercooked. Okay. Apart from Gary versus MVP, which is still opening the card, right? Hill Ulberg, the rest of the card as a whole is a little bit undercooked. And that's probably because, McGregor's here. Don't really need to snap the card because McGregor's the pull, right? And now that he's now out, the UFC probably thinking, shit, we probably need to add some quality in to really, add depth on this card to really show people, hey, look, we are serious. Look at this card all together. I'll see if I can pull up the main card. Izzy's body of work outshines Alex's. Yeah. Probably but let's be honest, Pereira and Izzy are showing what an active champion is, because when Izzy had the belt, Izzy was an active champion. I know people didn't really like his fight style, and I understand what you mean, like Izzy's body of work is larger. But if we look into it, people have been very, very critical of Israel's fights. Obviously, I have been in some aspect, but in some aspects I've gone like, come on, it is the responsibility of the challenger to rip the belt from the champion rather than try to nick it off the champion, if that makes sense. But with regards to this, do I think it's a better card? Well, let's have a look at the card, shall we? Let's look at the card. I'm going to see if I can pull up the UFC 303 full card, because I'll be very interested to see what people think of this card, right? Let's have a look at the fight card. Just share the screen now, everyone. So, obviously, we've got Pereira, Prochazka, Brian Ortega, Lopes. We have Smith, Ulberg. We have Bueno Silva versus Macy Jason. And we've got Ian Gary versus Michael Venom Page. Football Gossiper, Ortega, Lopes, my fight of the night. Hey, I don't disagree. But for more in-depth of the card and previews and stuff like that will be done on fight week. So I'm just going to give like my vague predictions. Obviously, when me, Jamie, and Callum are all back together again on fight week, then we will go into depth about this card, about who we think is going to win and stuff like that. I may do a video about keys to victory for the main and co-main to see what the betting underdogs would need to do to win their fights. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But yeah, look at the card. I think overall, I think it is better. And I think, let's be honest, right? How many people of you were actually interested in the Chandler McGregor fight? Or were you more interested in McGregor coming back? I think that's the thing with MMA Guru. I think he said in his video and tweeted, like, yeah, the fact this has changed basically showed how little I really cared about McGregor Chandler. I kept, because Pereira Prochazka 2 is arguably a better main event than McGregor Chandler. The reason why we're so hyped about McGregor Chandler, it's not because of the fight, it's because it's Conor's return. That's why I was hyped for the fight, because it's like, okay, it's a potential winnable fight for Conor. It's Conor's return. Or what happens if Conor beats Chandler? Look how many doors open for him. Could he fight Max? Could he fight Islam? Could he fight Leon? Obviously, neither of those 3 fights are going to be happening, especially either till the start of next year. So that's why I think the overall card, I think, looks a little better. Look at the prelims as well. This is just the main card. Obviously, we've got Joe Piper versus Andre Barriol. It'll be an interesting fight. Cobb Swanson versus Andre Fili. So we've got some okay fights. Michelle Watson Gomez. Arlovsky still fighting somehow. And I've got Carlos Hernandez versus Tei Tushura. So interesting. I'll remove that now. I would say the hardcore fans better for generating money, not so much. I think for generating money, because they've already sold the tickets for this event before this has happened, they're still going to get their guaranteed money. So the UFC is still going to get their $20 million gate. It's still going to sell out because people have already bought the tickets, bought the flights. And I think it'd be very interesting to see, because it's 2 weeks out, is this pay-per-view going to break 1 million buys? I doubt it, because it's not McGregor, but it'd be very interesting to see how many people have bought the pay-per-view under the impression that it's McGregor headlining it. And it'll be so interesting to see the numbers when there was rumors saying that he wasn't fighting, and there were some issues around him potentially fighting. I want to see if the numbers drastically drop. So it'd be very interesting. I would agree, Franklin, for the hardcore fans, it is better for generating money. The UFC is a money-making machine. I think me and Jamie and Callum have both discussed about it. The UFC are bulletproof. You know why? You seen the card for this weekend? Headlined by Pereira, Perez, and then the Japanese fighter, the undefeated Japanese fighter. I'm actually going to find his name, instead of being disrespectful to the fighter. Let me just have a look. Taishiro Taira. You seen that card for the 100th Apex card? Ugh. Not good. Not good at all. But it still generates money because people are still going to see it. And the UFC are comfortable. The UFC are comfortable because they know no one's going to challenge them. And people that thought the PFL and Bellator, that merger was going to really shake up the industry, it really didn't, because what did the UFC do? They nicked their hottest free agent that left, and then they took arguably one of their biggest female fighters in Kayla Harrison and brought her over to the UFC. So it shows that the UFC monopoly is still as strong as it has ever been. As strong as it has ever been. And I don't see it changing at this current moment. Could it change in the future? Absolutely. I think the more competition we have, the better, because I think it would change the UFC to be better, and hopefully under the TKO group, the dreaded TKO group that people think, oh shit, really? WWE? Okay, we're just finding out. Yes, Franklin, I have seen that. That I think with that, I am planning to do a video on that. I'm definitely planning to do a video on that. So I have seen the news. A video will be coming. I'll probably try and get a guest or two on to get some new faces on the channel who are a little bit more boxing orientated to see what their reaction would be. So Michael Bisping, some more news about McGregor's injury. Present, share my screen. Right. What shall we do? Okay. So Michael Bisping says that John McCarthy told him that the McGregor injury is the same leg he broke in the Dustin fight. John told me on no uncertain terms McGregor is injured and he hurt himself. His leg, the leg that broke, that snapped against Dustin, the titanium shin bone has failed. If that is the case, and he has re-injured that leg, obviously this is from Bisping, so it hasn't not been confirmed by McGregor or Chandler or stuff like that. If that is the case and his leg has not healed the way that he has healed, Conor, it's time to retire, buddy. It's time to retire. Absolutely. McGregor's done. We need to let him go. If that's the case and he has re-injured that same leg, Conor, thanks for the memories, but you need to retire from MMA because you cannot continue like that. You cannot continue like that. That's big news, by the way. That's big news. So basically, McCarthy's told Bisping that he suffered the same injury that he did. Go do Misfits boxing. He could do. He'll make a lot of money. Doing Misfits. I don't know how that worked with his UFC contract because he's still got to fight out his contract. He's got 2 fights left, and if he retires, he's still locked into that contract. So unless he co-promotes with the UFC, I don't know how he's going to do the boxing unless he buys himself out. So I don't know. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, it's not looking good. It should have healed by now. Yeah, it should have healed, but he has had the best doctors, the best care. He took him out of the testing pool. He took himself out the testing pool, which should have gave you the indication that he was going to try every drug, every steroid, every concoction he could think of to get that leg healed. So when he went back into the testing pool, it's good. It's good to go. Crazy, but it's not looking good. I'm just trying to see if there's any other. News into it. That's big though. That's big news, man. Absolutely big. It's not good. Do you sad partying? Yeah, possibly. I don't know why they'd be partying though. Is it because that the UFC sort of effed them off because of how the McGregor thing was handled? Do you think that's why they'd be partying? But that's really, really bad. That if that is true, by the way, I don't want to speculate, but it's just such a shame, man. It's just such a shame if that is true that he is re-injured that same leg, because that's his career done, from my opinion. If he comes back, I don't expect much. So yeah. If he comes back now, he'll get smashed on that leg. I just don't want him to do more damage. Yeah, he's got a kid, he's got family. I know when fighting's in the blood, when fighting is all he knows. And he's going to have to retire like this. I always like when fighters are going to go, when they go out on their own terms, when they decide, yeah, I'm done. I'm leaving the game before the game sort of leaves me behind. And it's going to be a shame if that's the case. Absolute shame. One of the icons absolutely crazy. See, is anything else for me? He can. Yes, of course he can blame himself as well. He could blame himself as well because he should have never taken the Poirier third fight if he was coming with that injury. Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame. It's a real shame. Yeah. Of course, he'd have himself to blame as well in certain aspects of how he handles himself. But for me, like if I'm McGregor now, I happily retire. I go and make my money doing misfits, boxing, movies. Go and be a movie star. I know he said he didn't really want to act, but if you watched Roadhouse, I don't know whether or not you watched Roadhouse with McGregor. It looked like he had a blast. Make your money. You don't need to go through the pain for our entertainment. Obviously, we would love McGregor to come back and go on another run. But I don't want to see him come back because he needs the adrenaline rush. He needs the thrill of being in that octagon, and I would not want him back. And he's definitely not going to come back for money because that guy is loaded. That guy is set for life. He does not need to come back for money. I think he's coming back for the thrill, for the love of fighting. But yeah, crazy. Everyone that's still tuning in, massive thanks. Make sure to hit the like button, share button, subscribe button. Make sure to subscribe to Jamie Phillips Football Chats. Make sure to subscribe to the Sanderson Show. Also subscribe to Coppish as well. Yeah. Any more comments? I'm probably going to go for another 5 more minutes. Then I'm probably going to head to bed because I've been on here for nearly an hour. So probably reach the hour mark, and then we'll probably call it a night. Just trying to see if there's anything else really news-wise. Trying to see if there's anything news-wise. Obviously, the boxing's on this weekend. Trying to see here. Yeah. Daz, when's the next big UFC in the UK? So UFC 304. Headlined by Edwards Bilal 2 and Aspinall versus Blades for the interim belt. Obviously, we're going to have to break down at some point John Jones being a very insecure man. Because obviously he tweeted out the first fight until Aspinall got injured. So we're going to have to touch on to that at some point because he is really showing. For someone that doesn't care about Tom Aspinall, he certainly is caring a lot more than he probably should if he doesn't care about good old Tommy Boy. So we're probably going to have to break that down at some point. But I'm also going to be releasing what my video schedule is, like upload schedules, stream schedules are going to be, because the one thing I'm going to need to do to get this channel to grow, to build a really good community, like we're already showing signs of. We're going to have a really good core community here that tune in for the streams and stuff like that with me, Jamie, Callum. Obviously, Drifty made his debut last night. Hopefully, Drifty will make more appearances. Franklin, people say that McGregor, the best, is hoping the best with Conor, but the ship sailed in that Poirier fight. He don't get the fire. He didn't get the fire after the Khabib fight. For me, the fire went as soon as he fought Mayweather. The fire went when he went and fought Mayweather. You know what he should have done? He should have went and fought a prime Tyron Woodley for that 170 belt. That's what he should have done. That would have been real gangster. I know Callum said, "Oh, McGregor would have got killed," but he should have really done that instead of doing the Floyd fight. I think the Floyd fight really set him up financially for life, but I think it sort of I think that put out his fire for the UFC once he made that money. Will Paddy be on the bill? Yes, I think he's fighting Bobby Green, so which is going to be a really tough fight for Paddy. It's going to be really, really tough. It's not going to be as easy as you think it will be. You know, both of them fought Tony and Bobby Green, who's not really a submission guy. He's more of a dirty boxer, really, really good striker. Submitted Tony Ferguson, and we saw Paddy labour against the washed Tony. So that fight's going to be really interesting. It's going to be tough because if Bobby Green lands, it could be a long night. It'll be a long night for Paddy. But yeah, I will be releasing what my stream schedule will be, about if I'll do any extra watch alongs outside of the standard numbered cards on the Sanderson Show. I will let people know if I may dip into boxing content, if that was what you'd be interested in as well, because this is a combat sports channel. So anything boxing, I may touch on some PFL because there's some good British talents coming through PFL. It is easy to watch it in the UK. So if you want to see watch alongs like that, you let me know. But we're going to be getting a consistent stream schedule in to really build this community, because I really want to really put everything into this as much as I can. And I think the late night streams are probably going to be a key pillar for the channel at the moment, just because of my work schedule and just how life is at the moment. It's just easier for me to stream at night because I can still wake up to at a good time to go to work and stuff like that. We need some Batavia Bivol content when it happens. I'm so hyped for that. Yeah, absolutely. Like I am trying to reach out to people to really, add more. Try to get more people on the channel as well, like people that I watch that I'd like to do content with. Obviously, the core, me, Jamie, and Callum, that's always going to stay regardless. That's always going to stay. Big fight next Friday in Channel 5. Yeah, may do that. I may do that, but I want to get something consistent so people know what to expect and stuff like that. And massive thanks to everyone for yesterday that tuned in, by the way. Like, that was the biggest stream on the channel. Hi, Christian. Better not be baiting me because I'm about to wrap up soon, my friend. So, hello. Just make sure you don't try and bait me again with any of those words. You got my channel cancelled. No, it was all right, really. As long as you try and bait me that don't say the you know what word, then yeah, that's fine. But hey, everyone that's tuned in, massive thanks. Everyone hit the like button, share button, subscribe button, and we're on the journey to 1,000 subs. But the next target is to get to 200. I think we're only a few subs away. So make sure, if you're new around here and you like combat sports content, make sure to hit the like button, share button, and subscribe button. Last thing, I am doing a midnight walk at the end of August for the domestic abuse support unit for Wrexham, and I'll be doing a walk from Llangollen all the way to Wrexham at the end of August, 23rd of August. I have a GoFundMe page in the description. A link in the description is the GoFundMe page. I will actually put it in the chat as well. That I will put the link. Hold on, I'll put. If this works. Oh, come on, man. Hold on, I'll put. So just okay, yeah, so I'm going to put the link to the Just Giving page in the chat as well. That's also in the description. We're trying to get to we're trying to raise £500. Trying to raise £500 for domestic abuse victims that need support. So any amount helps towards that goal for £500. We're on 130. I'm going to keep pushing it until we do the walk to really help raise money for people that need it in these types of situations. So any type of donation would be very, very much appreciated. As long as liking, sharing, subscribing, keep an eye out to my Twitter link. Twitter is literally next to my name. So at LukeTanner257 is my Twitter. But everyone that's tuned in, massive thanks to everyone, and I'll see you all very soon. See ya.